Yes, I know that business is made up of two or more people,
Oh,
normally between 2 and 20.
okay. So that is true. A partnership, in general terms, refers to a form of business ownership that is made up of two or more people. But like you said, there is a limit or a maximum number of people that can form a partnership, and that is 20. The minimum is 2. However, there are some exceptions in certain cases, and I'll tell you about it as we move on. So a partnership is an association of two or more people doing business jointly with the intention or the aim to make profit. So that is the simple definition we can get. Now, this definition is prescribed by a certain act. Okay, partnership businesses are governed by certain rules and regulations which are codified in an act, and we have to know that act. That act is known as the Incorporated Private Partnership Act. So let me type some of these things on the board so you can note them as well into your books. So the act that regulates this partnership business in Ghana is known as Incorporated Private Partnership Act 1962 Act 152. So this is the name of that act, that law that governs the act. So according to this act, partnership is the association of two or more individuals. And here, when we say individuals, we are looking at as in persons. So two businesses or one business and a person cannot form a partnership. It should be individual human beings coming together to do business. So two or more individuals, but not more than 20. Doing business jointly for the purpose of making profit. So that's the definition of a partnership. And as well, you need to know the act or that law that governs partnership businesses in Ghana, and that's the Incorporated Private Partnership Act 1962, Act 152. So the 1962 tells the year in which that act came into being. Okay. So for example, the three of us can form a partnership business. Okay. Now let's look at the features or characteristics of partnership business. The features or characteristics of partnership business. And of course, the first thing you can tell me is that it's an association of two or more people. And for that matter, you can talk about the membership. So let's look at the features or characteristics. So one, we can talk about the membership. And in terms of membership, we'll say that the minimum is 2 and the maximum is what? 20. Okay. Like I said, there are some exceptions in forming businesses like banking. In the banking business, the maximum number is reduced to 10. Okay. And in some professional businesses such as solicitors, and I believe you know who solicitors are, and accountants, okay, the maximum differs. So even though we say the maximum is 20, there are certain type of businesses they can allow for more than 20 or less than 20. Okay. But in principle, the minimum members is 2 and maximum is 20. So that's the first characteristics we can look at. What other characteristics can we talk about? In terms of sharing profits, profit and losses are shared among the partners, right? So profits are shared among the partners. So if the three of us are doing business and we make what do you call it, a profit, or if there's a loss, the three of us would have to share in that profit or loss. Now, in terms of the legal status of the business is not legally separated from the partners, like the sole proprietorship too. Okay. So if any legal action is taken against a partnership business, the partners are also, held in that particular suit. Okay. Like the sole proprietorship, when you sue the business directly, you sue the owner. So here too, in ordinary terms, the partners are not legally separate from the business. Okay. So when the business is sued, the partners are also in a way affected. Okay. So that's about the legal status of the business. So partnership is not legally separate from the partners. Okay, I just lost several to that. Okay. Then we can also talk about management of the business. The management of the business is, by the partners. So all the partners are involved in the management of the business, except the agreement between the partners says otherwise, right? And of course, all the partners contribute capital to fund the business. So in a partnership business, the source of funding for the business or capital comes from the partners. And they can contribute cash or they can contribute any other assets. Okay. And then the last one I'll add is the partners are responsible for the management of the business. Okay, so I think we'll end at this 5 points. Is any question up to this point? Okay, now let me tell you a brief story about how to form a partnership business in Ghana. If you want to form a partnership business in Ghana, like the three of us, the first thing we have to do is to agree, okay, to make an agreement of how we want the business to be conducted. Okay, so we are going to speak about a lot of things. Frankly, if the three of us wants to do business, I'm sure we would agree on how much each of us will contribute to the business. And then maybe we'll talk about who will take certain positions. So maybe Sandra will be the general manager, Cyril will be the accountant, and maybe I will be the sales manager, whatever. Would agree on all these things. If we are to receive salaries or anything, I think we would agree on how much we should pay ourselves. Okay. So we would have to sit down and agree on these terms. Now, when we agree on these things, we put them in writing, and that is referred to as a partnership deed. It's referred to as a partnership deed. Okay, so when you hear a partnership deed, it simply refers to the rules and regulations set by the partners to guide their relationship in the business. Or in simple terms, you say the agreement made by the partners as to the rules and regulations that should govern the partnership business. Okay, now, when we are able to come out with this partnership deed, we then deliver it to the registrar of business, names, and I think they have their office in Accra, Ghana. Yeah. So you submit that agreement to them, and you see the agreement even give details about the kind of business we want to pursue or do. Okay, so the registrar will go through our agreement. If there are anything that is illegal, then we might not be able to register the business. Okay, so the registrar will go through, check the information that we've provided there. If there's anything untoward, our attention will be drawn, or maybe our application can even be rejected, especially if what we want to do is illegal. The registrar will not grant us, the license to operate. Okay. So if the registrar goes through and is satisfied with everything, the registrar issues what we call a certificate of business names. A certificate of business name. Okay, to show that the partnership is registered. And most of the time you have to pay something as a form of registration fee. Okay. Please, any question on what we have done so far? No question? Okay. So based on what I've said, it's important for us to know what the partnership deed is and some of the contents of a partnership deed. So let's do that in the next slide. So like I said, let me ask Prof. Sandra, how would you define a partnership deed in your own words?
It's an agreement made by the partners on how to manage their business.
Great. That's great. Prof. Cyril, you want to say something about that? So a partnership deed is the agreement made by the partners that sets out the conditions, rules and regulations that governs the partnership. Okay. So let's discuss some of the content of a partnership deed. What are some of the things you think the partners will agree on? So contents of the partnership deed. content of the partnership. I think we can all share our ideas. If you are doing business with other people, what are some of the things you agree upon with them? Whoever is ready, yeah, Prof. Cyril.
Sir, please, the nature of the business.
Great, that is true. So the nature of the business, as in what type of business are we forming? Is it going to be a trading business or a service rendering business? So the nature of the business will be agreed upon. That's great. Any other?
The name of the partners.
Okay, so the name of the business, okay, the name of the partnership business. And I think Prof also asked that the name and addresses of the partners. Yes, we would have to agree and put that in our agreement so that we know that this is where you stay or this is your address. Because in the course of doing business, maybe we would have to maybe send a letter to the partners. And then if we don't have your agreed or we don't agree on the address where we can send those letters and correspondence, how can we send such letters? We may send it to your home and you say, no, that's not where you stay. So we have to agree on the address and even your name. We need to talk about it and agree that this is your name, this is your full name, so that in our documentations and everything, we don't either misspell your name or use your wrong name or whatever. So the name and addresses of the partners. Okay, yeah. And the name of the business and even the address of the business as well should also be in the partnership deed. Okay. The next one, we can talk about how much each of them should contribute as capital. So the amount of capital should be contributed by each partner. We can talk about the ratio of sharing profits or losses. You have to agree on that. So in fact, there are a lot of things that goes into the partnership deed, okay? We can even talk about if there is a dispute or a fight, how do we settle it? So methods of settling disputes between partners. All these things should be agreed upon. Even the procedure for meetings, should be agreed upon. And keeping of records. That is why in some, I don't know if you have ever been part of a group of people and sometimes they have in their laws that when they meet and let's say the members are 10 and that 10 membership is like maybe half of the total membership, the meeting can start. So some of these things should be agreed upon by the partners. If we have 5 partners, we can agree that, okay, in case we are having a meeting and 4 partners are there, we can do or have such a meeting without waiting for the last member. So some of these things are also. So there are a lot of them. I'm sure your textbooks will give you a lot of them. Let me add the rights and responsibilities of each partner should also be agreed upon. And even how much salary to be paid, if any. So if they have to pay any salary to a member. Okay. Now, interestingly, some people start business and they don't agree on this, like they don't have this kind of deed. As in, they don't sit down to document this agreement, okay? Because like I said, you have to put it in writing. It should be a formal document that has your rules and regulations. I think synonymous to this is constitution. If you have been part of any club or society, you know that they have a constitution, and that constitution tells you about the do's and don'ts for being a member of that club or society. But you see, some people do business and they don't have this document called a partnership deed. If it happens like that, then the law that I spoke about, which is the Incorporated Private Partnership Act, it spells out some rules, some general rules that should apply. Okay. So we say that in the absence of a partnership deed, the law provides the following. The law, and when I say the law, I'm referring to the Incorporated Private Partnership Act. The law provides the following. And please, this is highly examinable, so take note of it. You can be as in the absence of a partnership deed, state 3 rules and regulations that govern a partnership. Okay. The first one is that all partners will contribute capital equally. So all partners will contribute capital equally. Can you guess any other thing that can govern such a partnership, or as the law prescribes? If all the partners will contribute capital equally, then it also means profits and losses will be what? I want you to guess.
Shared equally.
Exactly. So profit and losses will also be shared equally. Okay, great. Now, major decisions shall be taken by majority vote. By majority vote. All partners have the right to partake in the management and running of the business. Okay, Prof. Cyril.
Salaries and drawings.
Okay. So what do you have to say on that? What happens to salaries and drawings?
The partners are not entitled to any salary,
Exactly.
remuneration, or commission.
Exactly. That is perfect. That is very true. So no partner shall be paid salary. That's true. That is very, very true. Thank you very much for that. Or any remuneration. And this is because each and every one of them is supposed to play a role in the management and running of the business. Okay, I think we have 10 minutes to wrap up. So let's quickly see if we can wrap up with this and then now, interestingly, if any partner, you see, all the partners are supposed to contribute capital equally. So, for example, the three of us, if we are contributing capital, then if it's 100 cedis, Dameki will bring 100, So will bring 100, I'll bring 100. However, if any of the partners provides extra capital or advance to the business, then the law provides that such a person or such a partner should earn 5% interest on that extra capital, if I should put it that way. And take note of that. So any partner that contributes extra resource in the form of a loan or advance to the business shall earn 5% interest per annum, and per annum means annually, right? Every year. So such a person will get that 5% interest, and it's very, very important. Very, very important. Again, you can't introduce any new person into the business without the consent of the other person. So no new member can be admitted without the consent of all partners. Okay. Now take note, in accounting, when you get to partnership account, some of these things will come to bear. Most especially the contribution of capital, sharing profit and losses equally, and the 5% payable on any loan or advance by a partner. Take note of those three. You would need them in financial accounting when you get there. Okay. So there are others too, but I think we'll take these 7. These exams, when it comes, the maximum they can ask you to state is maybe 5 or 6. So we are good to go. But there are a lot of them. All the records of the business will be kept at the principal office of the business, etc. Okay, so my professors, let me not worry you too much. I think some of you would have to join your group assignment discussions and others. And I think if Aseye comes, we'll take a decision on something. But if there's any question, please, you can ask me before we wrap up. So maybe on our next meeting, we'll look at the types of partners and the types of partnership business. Then maybe we'll look at some of the advantages of partnership and disadvantages of partnership. Any question for me? No question. Then let me ask this. I didn't write this, but I stated it in my presentation. If a partnership business is being registered, what is the name of the certificate that the registrar issues to the partners to signify that the business has been duly formed and registered? What is the name of that certificate? Yes, Professor.
Certificate of registration.
Okay, yes, but I made a specific, there was a specific name I gave. It is certificate of Prof. Dameki, do you remember?
No, please.
So certificate of business names. Certificate of business name. That's the particular certificate that is given. Of course, a certificate of registration is more or less like a certificate of registration, but the technical name is a certificate of business names. So note that one. Okay. Let me ask another question and maybe I will end. What is the name of the law that governs partnership in Ghana? Okay, so I'm asking this because a typical objective test question, which of the following is the law that governs the partnership business in Ghana? And then you see a lot of normally the years and the act. Okay, so yeah, on
It's Partnership Act 1962.
okay. Okay. Okay, that's great. So the Incorporated Private Partnership Act 1962, Act 152. Act 152. Okay. So my dear professors, I think I'll end here. And thank you for making it, even though this is not our normal meeting time. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next couple of days.